सच्चिदानंद गौर हरे नित्यानंद राम जय नित्यानंद राम ओ नित्यानंद राम जय नित्यानंद राम पातित पावन नित्यानंद राम Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Oh
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Oh
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Oh
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Oh
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Oh
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Shishimad Divine Guru Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Shishimad His Divine Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Brahmasa Goho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Giradha Shivasari Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki Shri Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Jamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi ki Tulasi Maharani ki Srimati Radharani ki Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev, Lady Subhadra Devi's ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopal Ju ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki, Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Gaura Premananda. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga Maharaj. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Shrimati Swami. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Good morning. Merry Christmas. They're worshiping Santa Claus more than Jesus Christ, but that's another topic. In ISKCON, sometimes they're dressing Radha and Krishna up, right? Like it's Santa Claus and the wife of Santa Claus. You never saw that picture? Okay. So this is called deviation, speculation. It's cute. It's just offensive. It's cute. You know, you don't usually see Krishna wearing Santa Claus suit. You know, so for them it's cute. It's fun. But does Krishna want to climb into the Santa suit and look like an old man from the North Pole? I don't think so. So this is the problem with the speculation. It's very dangerous. It can seem harmless. It can even seem sometimes spiritual. We're trying to make the devotees happy. We're trying to respect their so-called Christianity. Right? We rejected Christianity because it was insufficient. It only brought you to a certain point. Even Jesus went to India. There's also many books about that also. Everyone has to go to India, or India has to come to you, because Krishna, Supreme Absolute Truth, he comes there, and then he travels through his devotees to spread knowledge of the Absolute Truth. So we can read a verse today? Is that all right? Get the brain working a little bit more? So I was reading this morning in 4th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Transcendental Knowledge, chapter 16, verse 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So fourth chapter, Transcendental Knowledge, verse number 16. Please repeat. Kim karma, Kim our karma, iti kavaya, api, atra, mohita, tat, te, karma, pavikshami, yat, gyatva, mokshase, ashubha. Kim karma kim karmeti, kavayopi yat mohita, tate karma pavikshami, yajgyatva mokshase shubha. Kim, what is karma, action? Kim, what is our karma, inaction? Iti, thus. Kabaya, the intelligent. Api, also. Atra, in this matter. Mohita, are bewildered. Tat, that. Te, unto you, karma, work. Pavikshami, I shall explain, yat, which, gyatva, knowing, mokshase, you will be liberated, ashubhat, from all ill fortune. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna speaking to Arjuna, and he said, even the intelligents are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction, what is to be done, what is not to be done. Now Krishna says, I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune and inauspiciousness. Please repeat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. In other words, what is to be done, what is not to be done. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune and inauspiciousness. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. I was waiting for the translation. So all actions in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of the previous acharyas. And this is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow. To act in Krishna consciousness, one has to follow the leadership of authorized persons who are in the line of disciplic succession as explained in the beginning of this chapter. The system of Krishna consciousness was first narrated to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to his son Manu. Manu explained it to his son Ikshvaku, and the system is current on this earth from that very remote time. Therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of previous authorities in the line of disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding what is the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. For this reason, the Lord decided to instruct Arjuna in Krishna consciousness directly. Because of the direct instructions of the Lord to Arjuna, anyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna is certainly not bewildered. It is said that one cannot ascertain or understand the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dhammam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.19. No one can manufacture a religious principle by imperfect speculation. By mental speculation, one cannot ascertain or truly understand what is religion or self-realization. Therefore, out of causeless mercy to His devotees, the Lord explains directly to Arjuna, and through him for the rest of mankind, what is action and what is inaction. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness under the direction of bona fide pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Guru, direction of bona fide pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Guru, starts off talking that action in Krishna consciousness, whatever we're thinking and planning and doing, everything has to be executed in accord with the examples and the instructions of previous bona fide devotees, of previous acharyas. And it's set up that way because everyone's addicted to mental speculation. The Prabhupada said that's the problem with you Westerners, especially because you want to change everything. So because they think they're very intelligent and you get some education, and then Prabhupada, they take some quotes where Prabhupada says, use your intelligence, right? So then whatever they speculate, they say, well, Prabhupada said we should use our intelligence. So they're quoting previous Acharya saying that Prabhupada said we should use our intelligence, and that's why we've adjusted everything the way that we've adjusted it. So it sounds like they're authorized and following the instruction of the previous Acharyas to come up with whatever it is that they decide. But it's very tricky because it looks like they're just following Prabhupada's instruction. But you have to also understand that what has Srila Prabhupada, what have all the previous Acharyas and the authorities within the line to disciplic succession, what have they done, what have they said, what have they instructed, how have they explained these verses, and how they've given the path. So one must follow the path of previous Acharyas. Now, the other thing they do is they say, well, because Prabhupada, he adjusted so many things, according to time, place, circumstance, candidate. So therefore, Prabhupada has told us that we should use our intelligence, and then according to time, place, circumstance, and candidate, then you might want to make some adjustments. And then they quote Prabhupada, just like Prabhupada. He made these different types of adjustments. So Srila Prabhupada, because he's directly pure value medium of Krishna, he may make some different adjustments because he understands the nature of the beast. He understands, the complexity and the lack of qualification of the people that he's trying, like a doctor. He's understanding what is the real symptoms and really how to treat them. So Prabhupada is a sadhu vaidya. And Srila Prabhupada, I remember the story when Prabhupada told the GBC here, you go up and have your meetings and discuss everything, and come up with some kind of policies, positions, how to, better run ISKCON. And then they went up and they had all of their meetings. And then when they came down, Prabhupada just basically just crossing all of them out, saying these things are all completely useless and unauthorized, and it will not be effective. And he literally didn't accept one thing that they said. So you cannot, this goes back to Jiva Tattva, right? If we all were Nitya Siddhas, we're all from Golok Vrindavan, then once you get purified and liberated by following Prabhupada in the process, then you're also Nitya Siddha. So what is the difference between one Nitya Siddha and another deciding to adjust the process? But Srila Prabhupada, he said that if you cannot improve on what, at least do what I'm doing. If you cannot improve it, then just follow exactly what I'm instructing you. So Srila Prabhupada already looked at all the people of the world. He already analyzed everybody's disease condition. He already understood what adjustments have to be made based on these varieties of different human forms coming from different cultures and different bodies from around the world. Prior to that, no one had come from India and preached in the Western world. So Prabhupada was that personality who could go and understand the cases and the condition of all of the conditioned souls, and he came up with a system which would be universally understood and accepted by all of them based on hearing and chanting, especially from his books and his instructions, which are meant for everybody. So Prabhupada understood, okay, everybody more or less is the same. Maybe there's some little variations in culture or bodies or mindsets or upbringings or all of those material adjustments. But Prabhupada gave the solution to be like this. This is the prescription for mankind from that personality who was selected by Krishna Parampara, Mahaprabhu's Parampara, to go outside of India and to contact all of these different personalities from around the world. So there's not a need now for everybody to just go around and just according to what they're perceiving that, this needs to be adjusted, this needs to be changed, this needs to be, because Prabhupada said we should use our intelligence. And so we're using our intelligence, and because we're all liberated, we're all eternal servants of the Lord, we're all Nitya Siddhas, we're all so intelligent. Prabhupada said how intelligent we are. Therefore, we are authorized to make these adjustments. And so this is, you could say this is the fundamental mistake by which everything else comes from. And basically, instead of being in the Parampara, Guru Sadhu Shastra, following instructions, Prabhupada said as soon as you don't understand and you don't follow the instructions of the bona fide Guru, previous Acharya, you become asara or useless. So you're disconnecting yourself as soon as we misunderstand, because then they also criticize him. Well, Prabhupada didn't know, he wasn't capable of understanding that, right? They make these absurd types of critical, rationale for why they have to now have the new and improved version of what Prabhupada, as the Sadhu Vaidya, already established as the principles, the instructions, the structure of how the process should work. So Yuga Dharma is established, and the Mahaprabhu's devotee and Parampara has also established that Yuga Dharma and created Prabhupada's program. And then Prabhupada wanted that all sannyasis, gurus, they just travel to every temple. Of course, at that time it was sannyasis and senior devotees and preachers, to make sure that everyone was following his program. He didn't instruct them, go into these different temples and use your intelligence and adjust it accordingly, according to time, place, circumstance, and candidate. If that was going to be the principle, then why not do it then? especially in places where Prabhupada hadn't gone or hadn't saw or met those particular devotees in certain places or certain countries. He didn't give them that instruction, just go out there and come up with your own program and your own instructions and your own process. So when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before he left, he gave certain instruction, form the GBC body, everybody work in union, push the movement, and gradually some pure Vaishnava, empowered representative, Mahaprabhu's parampara will manifest itself. But Srila Prabhupada said that because these people wanted to be gurus, then they deviated from the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And because of that deviation, because of this greed and speculation that the only way this thing can go on is if they become gurus, then Prabhupada said this is the root cause of the disconnect of the Gaudiya Math from their spiritual master. And they became useless, powerless, because they disconnected themselves. Prabhupada said you added or you subtracted from the instruction. Prabhupada said, why am I so getting such a nice success? Is because I'm not adding anything, I'm not subtracting anything. Now you could say, well, and they say, well, Prabhupada in some places added and subtracted from what was going on in Gaudiya Math in India, right? But Prabhupada was authorized to be able to make these adjustments. But it's not that we should, Prabhupada says you should not try to imitate the spiritual master, just follow in his footsteps. And Prabhupada did not give any instructions that you should change anything. In fact, he said, don't change anything. This is the problem with you people, is you think you're too intelligent and you want to change everything. And then you're just manufacturing, concocting, constructing, and then it's failing, and then you're tearing the whole thing down again. And Prabhupada was critical of this type of mentality, this type of process, because it's all based on speculation, and you're not understanding the instruction of Guru Sarva Shastra, and therefore you're committing offense, you're disobeying, you're disregarding, and you're not following the instruction of the bona fide Guru, and therefore that's the root cause of every other fault that will come after that. And that example was there in the Gaudiya Math with Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada said that how did they get basically so messed up that they're just, even to this day, they're all fighting in the courts, is because everybody, once these two gentlemen decided that they wanted to be gurus, then everybody said, you know what, we also want to be gurus. So then Prabhupada said, now you see on the street, right, every mat has another guru, right, and everybody's saying, why can't we also be guru, why can't we also build a temple? And then they're all just, disagreeing, fighting, arguing with each other, because it's all variations of Maya, because none of it is rooted in following the previous Acharya's instructions. And all those examples were right there for all of us to see, and then what did we do? We made the same exact mistake. Oh yes, now we're all guru, now we're all self-made gurus, right? Now we're rubber stamping gurus, right? And everybody wants to be a guru. And then when there's a big revolution against the gurus, they said, and everyone's ready to tear the whole thing down, they said, no, we'll make you all gurus. So the opposition party, there was 50 devotees who were opposed to this kind of self-made guruship, where they're rubber stamping who is the next Acharya. Then as soon as it got too hot, too much heat, too much opposition, they just said, well, you know what, we'll make you also gurus. And then the opposition party said, okay, this is an adjustment, it's not just a select few people, but now it's like 50 more. And in this way, they just bought everybody off by offering them guruship and more power, more position, more influence, more money. It was just basically, a payoff. And once they got paid off, then all of a sudden, what happened to all of the scientific analysis of the deviation of these people becoming gurus? Where is all of that, the papers that you wrote proving how the whole thing was useless and a deviation from Prabhupada's original instructions? Now all of a sudden you're gurus, and all your papers and all of your complaints and all of your, arguments against these people and what are they trying to do. Now you're doing the same thing. You see? So, this Gaudiya Math, Srila Prabhupada said, it just started with two of them. They had just decided amongst themselves we should be the gurus because they had money, they had power, they had done so much seva. Whatever the reason was, they decided we should be the next acharyas. And then from that deviation, from that disconnect from Mahaprabhu's parampara, they all became asara. Srila Prabhupada said asara means are useless, powerless. And so therefore they lost their spiritual potency and spiritual intelligence. They all want to just be gurus. They have some small mat. In Prabhupada said now they're just ringing the bells and having a joint mess. So they're just basically ringing the bells. Was ordered, authorized, instructed, empowered by his guru in parampara. Therefore he was that authorized person who could make the necessary adjustments so that they would be practically able to receive a process of purification by which they could come to understand, this philosophy. So everything has to be in accord with examples of previous bona fide acharyas, but they can quote, Prabhupada told us like this, that, a little bit laugh, he said, but little thing first, become qualified, right? Of course you want everyone to become a guru. Who doesn't want everyone to become a pure devotee, empowered Vaishnava parampara of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? But that desire and wish and encouragement doesn't mean that it's an instruction to automatically do it. Or they'll use this quote where Mahaprabhu said, wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna, become a guru, liberate the three worlds. You see, so then they say, well, we're acting on Mahaprabhu's instruction. Because he said, when you meet someone, tell them about Krishna and become a guru. So my Gurudev used to sometimes say that, in his humble teaching way, he's saying, I don't know Mahaprabhu. And maybe my Guru, Mahaprabhu, told him. But all I know is my Guru. And so what I'm doing is on the order and the instruction of my spiritual master. So he just explained what is the actual process. So if you want to cheat, just like Mayavadis, you can take Bhagavatam, you can take any Shastra, you come with your conclusion, and then you just twist everything around by word jugglery. And when the word jugglery doesn't work because the words are very difficult to juggle, then they just change the words. This is easier to juggle now. And they just water it down, they make it like a general word which can then be manipulated. It makes it easier for the juggling process to go on. And so they take bits and parts, these quotes, not those quotes, half of the quote, quotes out of context, and then when something's really super inconvenient, they just change it. They just change the definitions or they just remove it. This is all purposeful cheating. And they have to do like that because everything they're doing is rooted in aparad, guru aparad. Because they never properly heard, they're not following the instruction, they've become useless, powerless. And therefore now you have to make all of these adjustments, and then now you have to change the system. Prabhupada said purity is the force. Why is it working? Is it I'm chanting pure holy name, Premanam Sankirtan? It's empowered by Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu's devotees, and that vibration is going in the ear of these hippies and these drug addicts and all of these people who are in a complete tamagun. And because of Krishna's mercy and the purpose of his wanting to deliver everybody, he probably said, I'm going there on behalf of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu's devotee, my spiritual master. They're empowering my words. Even Krishna said in Jaladutta, please, if you empower my words, then it will be possible to purify these people. Otherwise, without Mahaprabhu coming, without Krishna coming, even Advaita Acharya himself could not preach, isn't it? So that's why it must be authorized and it must be empowered and it must be ordered coming from Mahaprabhu in Mahaprabhu's line. Otherwise it's disconnected. If it's disconnected, there's no power. And because there's no power, then they have to come up with some bridge preaching psychology yoga program. And then instead of them saying, you see, because we deviated and we're powerless, we're asara, we're useless, and we cheated and changed everything in order to somehow brainwash you into believing our lie, what we've done now instead is just come up with this idea that none of you people are qualified. And Prabhupada said, use your intelligence, make the adjustments necessary according to time, place, circumstance, and candidate. And so therefore, we've decided, and we took a vote, and we decided that we need a bridge preaching program which is based on devotee care. It's because we care that we put you on this bridge preaching program, right? Complete deviation. Where is a counseling system? It sounds nice. Everyone needs a counselor. Everyone needs a psychiatrist, right? Out of devotee care. So where in the history of the parampara is anyone concocting a material psychology counseling system? Where is that? Right? It's already built into the system. Those who are pure devotees, those who are sannyasis, those who are gurus, those who are preachers, they'll automatically, by their spiritual position and knowledge and potency, they're automatic counselors. Right? That's why Prabhupada was giving sannyas, right? And telling everybody just to go out and to preach, because they naturally, according to the, you don't have to come with some artificial system. The only reason they made that system is this way they can manipulate and control and get disciples. You see? And then you make them like lieutenants, right? And then therefore they're looking after the guru's interest within that temple. So you're controlling the manpower, and then you're making sure that nobody is in any way disrupting or disturbing the so-called faith of their followers in these gurus. So you're getting a bunch of unqualified people acting like they're gurus, acting like they're shiksha gurus, and they're brahmanas and they're Vaishnavas, and they're able to give you every instruction personally and for your family and for your children and for your business life, right? They give financial training, they teach you about the stock market, they can do everything really, isn't it, these counselors? Yeah. Almost to the point that you don't need a guru, right? So this whole system is completely bogus system. And why not emphasize the Daivi Varnashram system? That those who become purified and those who become qualified, then become natural leaders. They'll what is it, command? They'll command that respect in that position because of their spiritual position. They're automatically counseling and helping you and guiding you and acting as Shiksha Guru. It's an artificial concoction. Or bridge preaching. The bottom line is they don't have the potency to make anyone a pure, surrender and become pure devotee. So just instead of admitting that, you just say it's all their fault. And so therefore they're not qualified. So let's just anyway get them on the path. And so we'll concoct this bridge preaching program. And really what they need is they need better health. They need better hatha yoga. You have to do some exercise, drug addicts and these people, they don't take care of their health. So let's get those drug addicts, healthy. And, of course, they're messed up, so let's get them some psychologists, right? And at some point, they're going to be ready for pure devotional service. And then when you ask them, well, how many people in the bridge preaching program give up those previous activities and see it as Maya, and then just say, no, now I just want to fully surrender and do pure devotional service? What are those numbers? What are those percentages of the bridge preaching program? That's why Prabhupada, he didn't want this yoga, system. One of his disciples, he set up like this yoga tents, and he was going around and teaching. And Prabhupada completely smashed it. He said, this is complete nonsense. We're not interested in these other yogas. We're interested in bhakti yoga. Because it's a warning that if you get involved in these other yoga systems, because it's materially motivated, the people who are in those systems, it's not for pure devotional service. Therefore, you can get stuck in those gradual preaching, bridge program of different types of yoga. You see? And then if you can't get somebody to surrender to Rishikesh, the master of the mind and senses, then how do they purify and control their mind? So what psychology can you do? You're basically, by your clever analysis and word jugglery, you're able to purify and control their mind? How? That's Krishna's energy, right? Krishna says, mind, intelligence, false ego, that's my separated material energy. So how can you just come in and just think that you're going to control Mama Maya by your, materialistic psychology training? So this is all the actual process to become empowered, authorized. It's being spoken here, and it's beginning with following the instructions and the path of the previous authorities, acharyas. There's no potency. This problem. And then did you hear, we were talking the other day to some devotees, some Russian devotees, and he was talking to some different gurus, and he was complaining that, like, this is complete mess that's going on in this temple, in this community. It's complete chaos. They're all doing, they're taking down all pictures of Krishna off the wall, and then they're covering the altar so that they can have yoga classes inside of the temple. So they don't want to offend anybody by having Krishna's pictures on the wall. So they're taking them all down every day before the yoga class, because somehow or other they don't want to prematurely disturb the minds of the people who are in the bridge preaching program. Now, if you went to Srila Prabhupada, I always ask this, if you went to Prabhupada and you said, Prabhupada, we have this idea, and we're going to do like this, this, and that, what do you really think, Prabhupada? What do you really think Prabhupada would say to you? And they never think about that. Whenever I ask them that question, if you went to Prabhupada, in many of these things they already tried with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada just completely smashed it. He said, this is nonsense, this is not required. It's an impediment. So it's not only, he already said don't do it. And then I told some psychologists, ISKCON psychologists, I said, Prabhupada said this is not required. Just follow his instruction, his path. Prabhupada said, don't do all of this thing. And you know what she said? Well, my guru said it was all right. So they're reading their guru's books, and their gurus, according to time, place, circumstance, and candidate, have made every adjustment that they think they can with their intelligence and their lack of potency to be able to follow Prabhupada's way. Therefore, they cannot purify, convince anybody, right? So we'll just jump to the Sandarbhas just to show you how advanced we are. And you're not advanced enough to actually practice pure devotional service, so you just do the bridge preaching program, but just know one thing. We really care about you. We're the devotee care department. So we love you. We're doing empathetic hearing. When I went for the Guru seminar, honest to God, they were teaching the Gurus how to do empathetic hearing. It basically means, how do you listen to somebody, sincerely, with real, genuine care, and to think how to help them. So you have to teach the Gurus how to do that? Even materialists know how to do that, right? So you're like literally trying to teach people how to be an average human being, right? Not a guru carrying on the, disciplic succession from Parag. Am I being too critical? Maybe it sounds a little critical. Am I being critical-minded? Should be critical. This is just the first sentence. I was telling Devika, I don't know what I'm going to say. He said, anyway, just pray to Krishna, something will come out, He knows. So, okay, that's the first line of the purport. I'm just explaining what it means. Isn't it more clear? Let's go to the second sentence. To act in Krishna consciousness, one has to follow the leadership of authorized persons who are in the line of disciplic succession, as explained in the beginning of this chapter. And they have this other thing, right? Okay, we're not liberated, right? But we're strictly following, right? So because we're strictly following, that is our liberation. And then you're like, well, how do I know you're strictly following? Right? So, no. We're strictly following. We're Prabhupada's man. And because of that, we're automatically liberated. Isn't it? So, do you read this apparently, or do you read it absolutely? One has to follow the leadership of authorized persons. Are they following the leadership of the authorized previous acharya, who are in the line of disciplic succession? And if not, they're useless, powerless. And then this devotee was telling, the Russian devotee was saying, yeah, the different Maharajas, they're sitting there, when this devotee complaining to the Maharaj how completely messed up the temple community is, right? The Maharaj is sitting with this man. He said, yeah, this is the problem with these people. This is the problem with these people. What do you say, Devaki? Leaders problem. Yeah, the leaders, they don't. There's nobody there to tell them what to do. There's no leaders. These leaders are like useless, right? And then I told this devotee, I said, well, isn't the guru supposed to purify and qualify and make leaders? So the guru is complaining that the leaders and the community and the whole situation is completely messed up and useless and disturbing, and he's acting like, these gurus are acting like it has nothing to do with us. I don't know how all these people are so deviated and they're not following any Prabhupada's program. Everything is dirty. Nobody knows how to behave. Everybody is doing some business and some nonsense in the temple, right? And the guru's complaining like this. And then when I said to that devotee, I said, well, why didn't that guru train and put the right people in charge there so that this wouldn't happen? how can this guru not take any responsibility for that and just say, yeah, none of them are leaders, none of them are qualified, they're all deviated. And then he was like a little defensive because now I'm talking about the authorities. He was a little doesn't want to go there. I remember being in the sannyasi guru seminar, not seminar. They had like big meetings, some sangha festival. So they had this thing you could write on. So they wanted everybody just write everything that's wrong with ISKCON. So you have like 50 leaders, and everybody's just like writing everything that's wrong with ISKCON. And the wall was really pretty well filled up. It was like the size of like this whole from here to here. From there to there. And then I was like, you know, is this on video? Like, you know, if you put this here, like, you know, is someone gonna watch like what you write, you know? So I didn't want to write anything, you know. I just put one or two things just to look like I was participating. But then I was listening to the gurus, a couple of gurus, and they were talking. I was standing behind them, and they're talking, and they're just saying, just look at how messed up this society is. And it was unbelievable that they did not relate their lack of leadership with what it translated into, with all of these different problems and misconceptions and deviations and criminal activity and on and on and on and on. And they were so disassociated from all of that, like they had nothing to do with that. And they were sincerely saying that. Well, this is what you've created. This is your results. Why are they acting like it has nothing to do with that? And then these gurus are saying, yeah, this problem, there's no leaders in this temple. Right? They don't know how to preach, they don't know what to say, right? And then this person says, yeah, I mean, he comes one day in a year. It's like, well, there you go. Right? You're going to come one day in a year, hear everybody's complaint of how messed up the place is because you didn't manage it properly and put the right people in power and in some kind of authority position. And now you come, on the one day you come in the year, all you're hearing is everybody's complaint. You don't know anybody. You don't know all the subtleties of the people, the situations, the history. You have no way to understand it, even to try to solve it, and you're only there for, 8 hours anyway. And then they're sitting there, yeah, this is a problem with this place. And they want more and more zones, more and more temples. Right? You can't even manage the ones you have. In America, you go to the temples, honest to God, some of them are like $1 million temples, properties, right? Beautiful. And you go there, and Prabhupada says, what's there is the lazies and the crazies. You get the lazies and the crazies, and then you've got the Indians, right? And then everyone's running around like trying to worship the Indians because they got money. That's really, if you go to almost every temple, that's what's happening there. $1 million temples, nobody's there. It's a ghost town, literally. And then they have to rent out the beds just to get money to keep the heat on. So you get all these kind of crazy people hanging out in there. It's, it's pathetic. And then I'm saying, these gurus are sitting in that temple. They live there. You're living there. You're preaching every day. for years. And this is the best that you could come up with? Where's all your hundreds and thousands of followers and disciples? Where are all these people? Why don't they come and hear you, Maharaj? Why you have just a bunch of lazies and crazies and some rich Indian people here? And then to keep the Indians, you have to put in, demigods, right? So that there's more demigods than there are people coming to the temple. Isn't it? And then what they do is they put how you get your ATM card, right? Instead of like hundi box, right? They have just an ATM card in front of the deities, So everybody's just like, now the cards you don't have to put it in. It has like a chip in it. So everyone's just up there like some receipts being pulled out of there, right? In front of the demigods. So this is what you have to do to get the Indians there, right? And then I saw in one temple that they're taking the offering, instead of going to Prabhupada first, they're going to all the rich Indian people first. Because they gave like some donation, right? And then after that, then they're going to Prabhupada. I said, look, if you don't want to go to Prabhupada first, that's your business. But please don't go to him afterward. This is even more insulting, isn't it? So where is the leadership? Please tell me. And then you want more zones and more temples and more authority and more power and more money? And you only can go there one day in a year? And then when everyone starts complaining, they're like, look, I didn't come here all the way to just listen to all your complaints. I'm here to talk Krishna-katha. These people are completely messed up. Look, I'm here for 8 hours, man. I'm going to give you some sociology classes and some psychology classes. We're going to do some pranayam, some hatha yoga. I'm going to show you how to make money by worshipping the demigods. Okay, I'm going to tell you how we are the ultimate managing authorities. And if you disrespect us, you're going to hell eternally. Mataji, you guys are smiling. What, am I saying something that's a little funny? Is it not true what I'm saying? That's why you're smiling, because you know it's true. Now, if you're going to speak like this, do you think they're going to invite me in the temple to preach all of this in the temple? I used to go there. Right? You think they're going to roll out the red carpet for me to preach to their disciples? To preach to their money-making machines? I don't think so. We didn't even get to the second. Oh, we did get to the second sentence. Therefore, one has to follow. I mean, how much clearer does it have to be? Prabhupada's like hammering this point. Therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of the previous authorities in the line of disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent man will be bewildered regarding what is the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. So even if you want to say these people are the most intelligent man, which is suspect, but let's just say you wanted to say that because they like you to say that. You are the most intelligent man. Oh yeah. No. Don't say like that. No, you are. You're the most intelligent man. No. So without hearing from Krishna through the disciplic succession and having a clear understanding of what Krishna Mahaprabhu wants and is authorizing and ordering through his disciplic succession. If you don't understand that, if we don't understand that, we cannot hear that, we cannot realize it, then we cannot preach it, we cannot follow it. Therefore, even the most intelligent man will be completely bewildering as to what to do and what not to do. So they're also bewildered. They're also under modes of material nature. They're also Maya controlling intelligence, mind, and senses. Concocting, so much concoction. What previous acharya said to do like this? Where is that? When they say, where is that in the Shastra? Where does Prabhupada give instructions to do like this? Prabhupada said, don't do like this. Well, my guru said it was all right. It's getting warm in here, isn't it? Is it the topic or just the weather? Both. I didn't know what I was going to say today. I stopped even trying to figure it out, to be really honest with you. Prabhupada says here again. Is it clear yet? Now all they can do is just try to somehow convince you how they fully understand, they're fully surrendered, they're fully following, they're following directly the instructions. That's all they can try to get you to understand. But if you don't know what they are yourself, then how can you say yes or no? Then Prabhupada said, the problem is you're not reading my books and teachings. You don't understand. If you don't read it, you don't understand it, by mercy of Guru and Krishna, you'll get cheated. You won't know what is what. Anybody can say any damn thing, Prabhupada said. Oh, the authorities have spoken. Who? The ultimate managing authorities have spoken. Don't question it. Don't think. Don't ask questions. It's offensive. You'll go to hell. Be careful. Be careful. Sound familiar? This is so fun, isn't it? Are you having fun? The truth will set you free. It's like a fun, right? You're a little nervous because you know it's controversial. So you just like, you want to laugh, you want to smile, but you're like, maybe they have cameras in here. No, I'm serious. When I was speaking in the temple, I was in the room, they said, Maharaj, you should be careful. I said, why? They said they're bugging all of the rooms. They have like these spy, microphone. They're sitting with like headphones. Do you know what he's saying up there? You better send some people up there. So it is said, Srila Prabhupada, it is said, they don't like that we're quoting these things, right? Because then they have to work harder to explain it. It is said that one cannot ascertain or understand the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dhammantu sakshat bhagavat panitam. No one can manufacture a religious principle by their imperfect mental speculation, no matter how brilliant they might be materially. This is a problem. No simplicity, too much pride and arrogance, not sufficient hearing, too much mental speculation, too much mental concoction, too much manufacturing, then deviation. One must follow in the footsteps of the great spiritual authorities. By your mental speculation, one cannot ascertain or understand or truly understand what is religion or even self-realization. Only action, Prabhupada says, that is performed in Krishna consciousness under the direction of bona fide devotees of the Lord, only that activity can purify and ultimately deliver a sincere person from the entanglement of the material existence. So Krishna says in the 3rd chapter that if you do what I'm asking you to do, that work will purify you and it will liberate you. What is it? What is that verse? 3:9. Yagya. Huh? Yes. That work that you do, that I'm asking you to do, that, because it's from me, for me, as an act of surrender and service, that service will purify your consciousness and it will liberate your soul. And any other thing that you do, any other work that you do, karma, any other karma bandhana, any other work that you do will bind you, will contaminate you, it will degrade you and keep you in this cycle of action and reaction, karma bandhana. So the whole point is how to purify our consciousness and existence to get out of the laws of karma. Because all the suffering, all the anxiety, everything is due to the karma phala. So Krishna says, if you surrender to me, I'll release you from Maya. And then also Krishna says that surrender, don't worry, I'll purify all sinful reactions. So all the sinful desires, all the sinful reactions, everything that's the root cause of why we're in a suffering condition, Krishna says, if you surrender to me, I'll destroy it. I'll show you special mercy and destroy it. So without knowing what Krishna wants us to do, exactly, how do we surrender to Krishna? It's not that you just do, Prabhupada says, not that you just do any damn thing and then say, oh Krishna, that was for you. When Arjuna wanted to surrender, he said, Krishna, you tell, I'm your shishya, I'm your disciple, you're my spiritual master, tell me decisively, specifically, what is my duty? So when you say, I want to be I want to be surrendered to Krishna, I want to be servant of Krishna, then Krishna, what do you want me to do? And then if it's sincere and serious, Krishna will tell you internally and externally, through the Guru, what is your seva? Prabhupada said, bona fide spiritual master, he's supposed to know the psychophysical nature of the student. Bona fide spiritual knows what is Krishna's intention for you. If the Guru is just going to guess, and sometimes get it right, sometimes get it wrong, don't you want to know that that service is coming from Krishna and that you're surrendered to that service, that Krishna is accepting that as an act of surrender, to the point that he tells Maya to leave you alone, to the point that he destroys all your karmic reactions? It's not like it's not a small thing. It's not, oh, you do anything, oh Krishna, that's for you, and then Krishna's destroying your karma phala, and liberating you, giving you transcendental knowledge, getting freed from cycle of birth and death. I'm doing Hatha Yoga and Pranayam, and I'm worshiping the deities, and I'm showing some false respect to these ultimate managing authority people because I'm renting a room in the temple. But I'm doing it for Krishna. And because of that, that's why I'm a pure devotee. And that's why you should respect me. Because I'm in Brajabhumi. Wow! How did we get there? That's a lot of leaps and jumps, and you're like trying to do a lot of amazing things there. You're sewing together some amazing thing. It's like that puzzle you're putting together and then you work on it for 10, 15, 20 years and then you hold it up. It's an abstract painting, you know. You don't even know what it is. So, any questions, points?
We have a Krishna West program also.
Huh?
Krishna West program.
Krishna West? Prabhupada gave Krishna West. Right? When Prabhupada came from India, he came from the Bharatavarsha. He went to the West. And he looked at these crazy people who were in complete tamagun, rajagun, and said, okay, you people are so crazy, I can't even preach to you. So just take prasadam. Just take Krishna, Jagannath prasadam, right? And just let me chant. Prabhupada said, I'll chant. You just try to listen to what I'm chanting and just take a lot of prasadam. And then you'll get well. You'll gradually get more healthy. You'll become more sane. And then once you get a little purified, a little sane, a little free from the tama, the Shuddha tama, then maybe you can start to understand a little philosophy. Right? Prabhupada already understood. And then Prabhupada cooking every day, feeding them prasadam, because they're hearing his kirtan, Hari-katha Krishna-katha. They're getting purified, they're getting some inspiration, they're becoming more sane, and they like the food, because they're living on the street. They're not even able to get the food properly. So they're starving spiritually, but they're starving materially also. So before you can talk philosophy to the starving man, you better feed them. Right? Once you feed them, and then they're sitting there like, nice, then they'll be like, okay, what do you want to talk about? Oh, let's talk about the Bhagavad Gita. Let's talk about Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? If the guy's starving, what philosophy he wants to talk about? All he can hear is his stomach growling. What are you hearing? My stomach. And then you're quoting some shlokas to that person. So you have to feed them. Right? Make them like a little happy. Then they like the food. They're eating 10 chapatis. They like chapatis. Then gradually they get the purified. This is preaching in the West. That's the program. That's the treatment program. Right? Hari-katha Krishna-nam, that's a medicine. Krishna Prasad, Jagannath Prasadam, that's the diet. So give them that diet, give them that medicine, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. This is nice treatment program to get rid of this crazy mind. Because they cannot produce Krishna not manifesting in that katha, that nam, The Namaparad, no potency, no Shakti. And then the Prashadam, you know, they're offering pizza and, you know, lasagna and tacos and whatever. So it's like, okay, you know, you take Jagannath Prashadam, right? You take real Prashadam, they completely change your consciousness. Completely. You think, you know, they're worshipping to the demigods? And then you're going to take, that's Prashadam? No. Chant some Namaparad. Here's some philosophical speculation. Wow, that's esoteric, man. I never heard anything like that. That's far out. Anything else? Any other points, questions? Everything will be all right again. When you come back to tomorrow's class, yeah.
Because this moment, like it will go for like 10,000 years.
After my preaching, he's saying, is everything going to be all right again? That was the first, that's the statement after my preaching. Is everything going to be all right someday? But this is progress. It's actual progress. Because he was before thinking everything was already all right. So now he knows it's not all right, but is hopeful, hoping that it's going to be all right. If we get Krishna's mercy, association with his devotees, and we hear the truth, and we take nice prasadam, we're going to be all right. If there's no medicine, and there's no diet, and we're just associating hearing from a bunch of mental speculators who are deviating and committing aparad, no, it's not going to be all right. So that's up to us. What do we want to hear? What do we want to accept? What prescription? Right? Prabhupada, he's sadhu vaidya, he's giving perfect prescription. So whoever comes and tells you just exactly follow Prabhupada's prescription, don't add anything, don't subtract anything, that's parampara. As soon as you add something, subtract something, manufacture something, concoct something, twist something, change something, that's not parampara. So it's just useless. Where are you devotees from? Where? Calcutta? Whoa. Is this the first time you heard me speaking? Are you alright? No problem? Imagine that's like the first class you ever hear from that Maharaj. It's like, where do we go from here? It can only get better. That I can promise you. It can only get better. As long as we're getting right information. And as long as we're plugging into that parampara, it's like a power source. Like a plug. Right? If you plug into Guru Krishna parampara, then you should feel the power. You should feel some connection to that power. Otherwise, we're like walking around with the, like, where am I supposed to plug this thing, you know? Then you're just tying it, using it for some other thing, you know? You're hanging some cloth on it or something, you know. I couldn't find anywhere to plug it in, you know. I'm just using it as a line right now. Sham, I'm bad, aren't I? It's horrible. So, what else are we talking about? He's like, is it gonna be all right? Yes. Mataji. Everybody needs to hear your Russian question.
Это не вопрос, это хотела просто поделиться с преданными реализацией.
This is for all the Russian devotees who will be watching this on YouTube. Who was sitting there wondering what's going on in their community. So?
Шрила Гурудева сегодня напомнил то, с чем столкнулась много лет назад. Это 20 лет назад я присоединилась к сознанию Кришны. И, как Гурудев всегда говорит, вспомните тот день, когда вы пришли такой искренний, первый раз в храм. Все казалось действительно таким счастливым. И так оно и было. А потом прошло где-то около 5 лет, и Кришна начал раскрывать, какие вещи происходят. И во мне лично, что 5 лет я занималась сознанием Кришны, и я лучше не становилась. И то же самое Кришна показывал про наших лидеров. И там просто такие, я даже сейчас рассказывать не хочу, какие дикие вещи происходили. И когда мы обращались дальше, выше к авторитетам, они нам единственно отвечали: дослужитесь до их, и тогда вы можете их каким-то образом анализировать. И я тогда реально начала очень искренне молиться Кришне, что Господь, как так? Я пришла к Тебе, и с чем я сталкиваюсь? И что мне теперь, уходить обратно в кармический мир или идти в какую-то мадху? Но я понимаю, что это не выход. И я реально плакала Господу. И тогда Господь мне посылал настоящего наставника, настоящего духовного учителя. И сейчас уже 15 лет я с ним иду по этому пути, я реально счастлива.
That's a long question. We're going to have to give you a bridge preaching answer. Wouldn't this be like, if you wanted to give to all of the authorities, right, in ISKCON, what is Murali Krishna Swami saying, right? Wouldn't this be like the perfect class for them to hear? Wouldn't it? It would be like the perfect explanation of what are we preaching. They'll love it. They will absolutely love it. So what happened?
So it was not a question, it was like realization.
I know, I'm just a little joking.
So, like when I joined like 20 years ago,
is this a 20-year story?
Эта история будет 20-летней давности. 20 лет будет продолжаться.
Should we get out the violin?
Скрипку надо нам достать.
Siberian sad songs 20 years
печальная
ago, coming from
песня.
Siberia.
20 лет назад.
She was walking in the snow, chanting. I didn't have enough money to get on the train. It was cold outside. So what happened? 20 years ago.
So in the beginning she was inspired, fired up, simple. And then after 5 years, she understood I am not changing at all. I even getting worse. And then she saw what is leaders doing. It was like a wild situation.
Wild East.
Дикий Восток. She's saying I don't want to explain.
No, if you say you're getting worse after 5 years, then they'll just say, stop criticizing. You don't understand the pure devotees. And you're like, yeah, but doesn't Prabhupada, say that we're supposed to do like this and this and this and that, Are you finding fault with us? So then what?
So then she approached like leaders on top, and she was complaining.
Leaders on top.
Yes, and she was
On top of what? On top of the deviations? They're on top of the ladder that they built. They're like one step from going over. Right? They're on the top, man.
They were saying, don't look at our faults.
You see? I'm saying the same thing.
Я же говорю то же самое.
You're a fault finder.
Ты ищешь просто недостатки. Then she was like disappointed, and she was crying to Krishna, like anything, like Krishna, what is going on? And then Krishna sent you, and now I with you.
Now she's still saying, what's going on?
Сейчас она до сих пор говорит, что вообще творится. And now I am 15 years with you, and I am completely peaceful, happy now.
That's good.
Это хорошо.
I wish I was.
Я бы хотел тоже быть удовлетворенным и счастливым.
I'm glad you're all happy, you know? I remember thinking many things, because I'm reading Prabhupada's books, and then I'm like, okay, they're not saying what's in Prabhupada's books. They're not following what Prabhupada's telling. So, okay, I don't want to offend anybody. Something's not right. If you don't read Prabhupada's books and teachings, then you won't even know something's not right. And then when I met my Guru, and then my Guru there just speaking the truth, that was like such a relief, because he was telling me everything that I was understanding. Krishna was helping me to understand this is dysfunctional, this is disconnected. But we're afraid to think about that because maybe we're offending somebody. We don't want to make any aparat. So better don't think about it. But it's still sitting there. And then when I met my Gurudev and he telling me the truth, I was like, oh my God, finally I met somebody who's not afraid to speak the truth. He's not worrying about his position or his, whether he's popular or not popular, whether people like him or don't like him. He could care less. So I never met anybody like that, especially in institution. Is everybody politically correct? In the politics, everyone has, like they call it, political talking points. So everybody is programmed with the media that this is what we're going to say every time this topic comes up. And it's just all like parroting the same political talking points. That's what's happening. And anybody who doesn't agree to say the same political talking points in order to maintain the status quo, they're warned repeatedly, and then they're banned to some spot. And then if you keep going, then they excommunicate you because they can't control you. But this is what is to be expected. When you try to speak the truth, according to Guru Sadhu and Shastra, to people who don't want to hear the truth, or for those who are trying to cover up the truth from people who may want to hear the truth, then this is what happens. So if our devotees who are here together for a long time, if you ask every one of them their story, more or less everyone will tell you exactly the same thing. And then somehow or other, we all ended up here, together. This is like a halfway house, you know? This is the house for the people who have been kicked out of the big house. We're like where the dog goes. You know, like the dog goes outside of the house. He has his own little house. We're in the institutional doghouse. Right? We're in the institutional doghouse. Smaller house. We're still getting nice food. We're still getting some shelter. No problem. Mataji, you look miserable back there. Yeah, you. Yeah, there's no one behind you. She's the last person. She's going. I thought your family was all interested in following Prabhupada.
Now we are following Srila Prabhupada because of you. Thank you.
Why you're not happy then? If you're really following, you feel shelter and protection. You should feel safe. You should feel happy. Now you're protected. Now you just have to figure out what you're doing. You got some protection. Now you have to work out a few other things. Because still questions are there, still doubts are there, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Like when you go into Afghanistan, you go to Vietnam, right? When you come out of the war, like you're a little like crazy, you know? So we just came out of the war and we're just like, we need some like time and some nice treatment programs. We just need people to be nice to us. How's that for a concept? And then, okay, gradually. That's why it's so much better when you just get the right information from the beginning. That's a very fortunate. But unfortunately, most of us have to go through, the battles to realize. I think Gurudev's quote of the day, wasn't it like this? When devotee was asking Srila Govinda Swami, you said that if you get cursed, then it gives rise for some blessing. And then this devotee says, I have been cursed to become the temple president. And Srila Gurudev said, that is a blessing. Becoming president means you will get so many kicks. Someone will come and kick you, someone will come and hit you. He'll come and try to hit you, and then you will just cry. Then you will get the blessing. This crying is needed. So when you take some burden on behalf of Guru Krishna Parampara, it's thankless task, especially if you try to speak the truth. Everyone will go against you. They'll all hate you. Even they hate each other. But they'll have a common enemy in you. So normally they wouldn't really get together, but because they don't like, they'll get together. And then they'll try to shut you down big time. So if you want the popularity, and you want the vox populi, and you want, you know, unlimited material facility and enjoyment, you cannot preach like this. You preach like this, you can expect attacks. You can expect that everyone will get together and try to attack you. But if you speak the truth for your own benefit and the benefit of others, for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, then who can hurt you? Who can kill you? If Krishna wants to protect you, who can kill you? And if you take a risk, life and death risk, and that type of a burden in a thankless task, and still you keep trying to speak the truth, to help people, to help devotees, my Guru said, try to help the devotees. What you heard from me, what I gave to you, we tried to help the devotees. Don't compromise anything. Preach boldly, fearlessly. Don't hesitate. Because you're trying to help these people. It says those who try to flatter you, they're your enemy. Right? You meet some Maharaja, you say, oh, where are you from? What are you doing? What is your seva? Oh, very nice. You took prasad? Yeah, nice, okay. Chant Hare Krishna. Right? They're not bothering, they're not asking you anything. Right? They're just giving some blessing. They're not speaking the truth. You're going there one day in a year? What burden are you going to take over there one day in a year? How are you going to help them? And then if you can't be there, then put someone there who can help them. Train somebody up. Anything else? What was it? Yeah? Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna,
Calcutta, the devotees, they're coming from the temple?
Saurabh met them on book distribution.
On book distribution? Yes. We're here?
Yes.
Oh, and they're also practicing there?
Yes, they are practicing.
So they're not so much involved in the ISKCON?
They are hearing from different devotees, but they are practicing on their own.
Achha. So when they're all smiling about these corrupt people who are preaching to them, it's not ISKCON devotee. So who is it? Anyway, that's another question. So,
गुरुदेव, जब हम कोई कर्म करते हैं तो अक्सर हमारे मन में एक ख्याल आता है कि मेरा एक मन कह रहा है कि मुझे ऐसा करना चाहिए, एक मन कहता है कि मुझे नहीं करना चाहिए. तो क्या मन दो होते हैं? और अगर मन एक ही होता है और माया भ्रमित कर रही है, तो हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि कृष्णा क्या कह रहे हैं और माया क्या कह रही है?
Krishna. So Prabhu is asking that sometimes when he wants to do something, so inside there are like two opinions always going on. That one side is saying that you should do it, other side saying you should not do it. So he's like in the middle, not understanding what to do, what not to do. So he wants to understand like how will he know if it is coming from Maya or if it's coming from Krishna, what he should do.
You have to say to Krishna, Krishna, please help me to absolutely know. Because, and Krishna knows. We're confused. We don't know what is what. We don't know what is truth, what is untruth, what is real, what is unreal. Who's bona fide, who isn't. Should we do this service or that service, or here or there? Should we get married? Should we be single? So many questions. And we're in conditioned states where Maya is still influencing intelligence, mind and senses. So it's very, very difficult to understand, even if you're materially a very smart person. What we're trying to understand is a transcendental topic. So you have material education and knowledge, intelligence, that may be all right materially, but it doesn't answer the transcendental, spiritual question. So if we are confused, we're bewildered, we're trying to make big decisions especially, we need to have not opinions. Everybody wants to give opinions. You should do like this, you should do like that, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your friends, your colleagues, devotees, this devotee, that devotee. Everybody has an opinion. It says everybody has an elbow, everybody has an opinion. So we're already confused, we're already speculating ourselves, trying to understand what is what, and just getting a bunch of conditioned souls who are also influenced by Maya to get their opinion. It just complicates the difficulty of understanding what is to be understood, what is to be done or not done. That's the whole point of this instruction from Krishna. So we have to understand the reality of our position and condition, that we're in a very bewildered, very confusing, difficult situation, and we want to understand about Krishna, surrender to Krishna, serve Krishna, but we also have to manage our family and our personal life. So all of these different factors have to be understood. So it's very, very, very complicated. And we're not going to come to that understanding by the strength of our own intelligence or our own mental speculation. If anything, that will just confuse the matter. So if we understand the reality of the situation and the complexity and the risks and the ineffectual process of speculation to realize the absolute truth, then we have to cry and pray to Krishna and convince Krishna that we need to hear from him decisively and specifically, because we don't want to misunderstand, we don't want to make a mistake, we don't want to have to take the reaction or the punishment of those mistakes based on mis or disinformation. So we have to really pray to Krishna to please help us, to give us the right understanding, the right intelligence. And if you really, really want to hear from Krishna, and you want to know decisively and specifically what to do, then Krishna will send you bona fide guru. Bona fide guru means Krishna's own representative who is working on behalf of Krishna, and Krishna is using him to communicate to you. So bona fide guru is purifier medium of Krishna. So Krishna is Chaitya Guru, Paramatma, Antaryami, but we cannot so much hear him. Sometimes he's talking, we're saying, no, that's Maya, I don't have to do. And then sometimes Maya talking, and we think, oh, Krishna is telling me I should do like this. So it's very, very difficult to know what's coming from Krishna, what's coming from Maya. So we really have to cry before Krishna, because he knows how complicated it is. Especially in Kali Yuga, everything is so disturbed. We have no real qualification. We don't have sufficient purification and simplicity and innocence to be able to directly hear from Krishna internally. Therefore he comes as Guru, bona fide Guru, And then he uses the spiritual master, bona fide guru, to give you his instructions. And if it's really coming from Krishna, then when you hear from the guru, then Krishna internally will give you intelligence and faith to accept those statements or instructions from bona fide guru. And the bona fide guru will also establish himself and what he's telling according to previous acharyas, according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. If they cannot establish themselves and their position ordered, authorized, empowered in disciplic succession from Krishna Mahaprabhu, disciplic succession, and they cannot represent or present that information scientifically with realization and faith, then why you should listen to them? Because they're telling they're pure devotees, everyone said he's pure devotee, or everybody said he's a bona fide guru, or he's some kind of authority. That's not enough. Everything must be authorized, backed up according to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, including how he's acting as guru. What is exactly did he hear? Does he understand? What is he presenting? Is that accurate, scientific, according to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra? And then when he does give some instruction, that Krishna internally gives you intelligence and faith to trust him and that instruction. Then if you have that intelligence and faith to try to execute that instruction, you'll see by the results what is the effect of hearing from them, and what are you realizing, what is your realization, what is the change in your consciousness, how free are you getting from mental speculation, how more clear, more peaceful, more good result. That good result will give you more faith, because unless you get a good result, then how you can continue taking instruction? But at the same time you have to try, otherwise how do you know? You judge the thing by the result. So if you follow nicely and it's really coming from Krishna, Krishna Parampara, then you'll get your answers, your doubts will be destroyed, and you'll get the practical realization and effect that's undeniable. And when you doubt it and question it and hesitate and not do as it is, then you get other kind of reaction, you get some other kind of result. And anyway, if you do it, you get a nice result. You don't do it, you don't get a good result. That's going to convince you. And then you just keep going. So, well, if that worked really nicely, maybe I'll take more of a risk. Maybe I'll get more clarification or more instruction in this way. Then it builds up your faith and your competence, determination to put faith in those instructions, because you're getting undeniable good result. And if Krishna and Krishna's representative, bona fide guru, you'll get that if we are faithful to Krishna, depending on Krishna and Krishna's arrangement with the bona fide guru that Krishna arranges for us. Then we can absolutely know. Then you can get free from mental speculation. We're spending every waking hour mentally speculating. It's exhausting. Just trying to figure out what to do, miscalculating, doing opposite thing, creating more of a problem for ourselves, more confusion for ourselves, getting reaction, punishment, becoming more disturbed. So there's no relief. There's no relief from that system, from action, reaction. Does that help you, I hope? We have to pray to Krishna to please give us absolute intelligence and faith And we also have to convince Krishna that whatever you tell me, that I'll accept it and try my best to follow that. If we're not going to listen, we're not going to accept it, we're not going to follow it, then why he should tell you anything? Sometimes devotees say, well, you know, just tell me what Krishna wants me to do and then I'll see whether or not I'm going to follow it. No, it doesn't work like that. You're trying to set the conditions with Krishna. Maya will punish you, will force you to surrender to Krishna. And then you'll be begging Krishna, tell me decisively, specifically, how do I get out of trouble? How do I solve all of these problems I got myself into listening to Maya? How do I not listen to Maya? Because I don't like the results. I need some positive information and I need some positive results so you can feel some auspiciousness and some peacefulness and some happiness. Right? This Prabhupada said like that, right? About Krishna. Oh, Krishna says it in the translation. Now I shall explain to you what action is, and knowing that what Krishna wants you to do, Krishna said that action will purify and liberate you and free you from all misfortune and any and all inauspiciousness. So if we feel that the inauspiciousness is going away and you feel that you're becoming more fortunate, more blessed, and you feel lighter and brighter and your anxiety is going away and your mind senses becoming more purified, pacified, peaceful. You don't feel like you're just like a monkey hanging on. Then you become more happier. Right? In spiritual life, it's like you can be like the monkey. Monkey always has to hang on to the mother, right? She's jumping all over the place. That monkey is like just grasping on somehow or other. Or you can be like the cat and just comes and just takes the kitten in the mouth from the back of the neck and just lift you up. So that analogy is given. So if we're surrendering, depending on Guru and Krishna, then they're helping you. If we're doing on our own, we're like a monkey, just trying to somehow hang on there. Very risky, very dangerous, no guarantees. That's not the smart way to go. Prabhupada says if you're like child, they just know, oh, mother, father are going to dress me, and usually they're going to dress me and feed me, take care of me. They're not worrying about all of that. For them, they feel it's automatic. They feel shelter and protection. They don't have to worry about that. But without spiritual shelter and protection, we're worrying about everything. That's a sign that we're like monkey, trying to hang on by our own strength, rather than being dependent and relying on mercy and blessing that we can get if we'll just cooperate with the spiritual master, instructions of the Guru, in a cooperative way, in a mood of loving affection, devotion, they'll take care of us. I hope that helps you. It was a bit of a long answer, but I think it's an important discussion. Sometimes we're so mental, we're so disturbed, even while coming to the class, and then we can't really hear anything in the class, because whatever's disturbing you is so distracting. And so Krishna trying to answer our question, but even we cannot hear it, because we're so much disturbed, so much anxiety, so much problem. So we're worrying about that, we're trying to make some plan, we're trying to, how do you adjust for this problem? We're problem solving. So we're not peaceful. So therefore we cannot hear anything. Every class we should hear instructions that are specifically meant for us. And whatever doubts we have, Krishna knows what is our doubts, what is our question. So Krishna bringing you to the class so you can hear the answer and how you can get free from your anxiety and your doubts. But if we're not listening closely, then we may miss it. So we have to pray to Gaur Nitai, please, don't let me be so disturbed and distracted that I'm not peaceful enough to hear nicely, so that Katha can enter inside of me and purify me and give me spiritual intelligence to understand what to do, what not to do. So this is process. Does that help you? Now, people, people want to just, they love their anxiety, and they love not knowing what to do, what not to do, and they enjoy groping in the dark, and they don't mind getting, punishment from making wrong decisions, and they like anxiety, and they love mental speculation, and they love being lost, then who will help them? Even Krishna couldn't convince you. Krishna's coming, Krishna is speaking, but are we hearing Krishna? Are we understanding how Krishna is there? That's the point. That's the special mercy that's required to take those words and instructions as coming from Krishna. Otherwise you think, okay, this is his opinion, this is his idea, he's just an ordinary person, so he has maybe some experience, he has maybe some education or something. So you can take it from an external material point of view. You may say, well, that sounds logical, and it may be very logical, but it's not necessarily that we're taking it absolutely. If Guru is telling you everything you want to do anyway, then we say, oh yes, Gurudev given me nice instruction. If it's something that's contrary to what we want to do, or what we're thinking, or what our plan is, then we're like, oh, I don't know if he's my Guru. Now I have some doubt. Now I'm just being careful. Let's see. But meanwhile, we're just pursuing Maya's plan. You're putting no doubt there. You're not hesitating there. That means we're cheating, and we're going to get cheated. That's up to us. You cannot force anybody. Everyone has to, Krishna devotee, giving their presentation. You have to see, okay, what is the value of that presentation? How accurate is it? And what is the effect of that information? By hearing from it and by following it, what result do you get? And if we don't accept that presentation from Guru and Krishna, then we'll just have to sit with Maya's presentation through this endless loop of mental speculation, guessing, philosophical speculation. And that's a very faulty process. And all of the thoughts and all of the execution of those plans from Maya, all of it will contaminate you and degrade you. However spiritual it may seem, however spiritual you want to make it appear, it's only when you actually hear what Krishna wants you to do and you accept it with full faith and surrender and try to follow that instruction, then Krishna said, then I'll purify you and liberate you and deliver you. So now, are we gonna go in a cheating way, or we're gonna be simple and hear it and accept it and try our best to follow it? When we want to do material life and we want to be cheated and we're cheating and we're being crooked, then we'll be like, well, you know, I have some doubts. I'm just being intelligent. If you're hearing from Krishna, how you have doubts? So that means you're not hearing from Krishna. So doubts are very convenient when we want not to surrender. Well, I'm just being intelligent, you know, I don't know, I'm just praying to Krishna. Right? I'm just hesitating, I don't know. But then meanwhile, we're just going on our own Maya's plan. That's not hesitating, that's not stopping, you're not doubting that one. Only on the Guru's side, only on the other side, there's some hesitation, some doubt, let's see. Everyone's got a plan. Everybody's working on some plan. So if it's not Guru and Krishna's plan, it's Maya's plan. And if it's not this Guru, then what Guru is Krishna using to tell you his plan? Well, you know, okay, you're not my Guru, but I also don't have a Guru. Okay, that means you're not sincere and serious, and Krishna not sending you a purifier medium to hear Krishna's plan. So, what are your doubts all about? Why you're hanging on to those doubts? It's like Krishna preaching to Arjuna. At the end, Arjuna said, you cleared all my doubts. You answered all my questions philosophically. Now I'm convinced. Now I'm surrendering. Now I got the point. Krishna said, okay, at the end of all of his preaching, did you hear me properly? With open heart, open mind. Is there any question, any doubt, anything blocking you, stopping you? And Prabhupada said Krishna was prepared to clear everything. Even to repeat the whole Bhagavad Gita all over again. Just to convince him. But if you don't want to be convinced, nobody can convince you. Prabhupada said just like the sleeping, right? If you're faking that you're sleeping, nobody can wake you up. But if you're really sleeping and someone says, hey, hey, and just pushes you, right? Immediately you get up. So we're not being simple because we're being intelligent. I have some doubts on being intelligent. Okay, you're doubting Guru and Krishna, then you're not doubting Maya. Right? If we're not serving for Guru and Krishna, we're serving Maya. So if you're doubting serving Guru and Krishna, where are you? In the Tatastha? You're not serving Krishna, but you're not serving Maya? What are you, just like in some suspended animation? Just floating out there, not this, not that? How long will that last? I'm intelligent, I'm just floating in suspended animation. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening to me right now. And then someone says you're floating in suspended animation on the mental platform, which is not this and not that, and that's being influenced by Maya. And you're like, well, why is this person preaching to me like that? What does he want me to be, his disciple? What does he know? No one else knows. And you come up with all this type of nonsense. And then why anyone should preach to you? Okay, you enjoy suspended animation, floating around in the Tatastha. Well, it's not Maya. Well, what is it? It's either Krishna or Maya. Tatastha was where we came from. Now you're here. Now it's Krishna or Maya. Okay, you don't accept Guru and Krishna's instruction, then where are you? Who's controlling your intelligence, mind, and senses now? As soon as you disconnect from Guru and Krishna, Guru Sadhu Shastra, immediately your mind makes you hesitate and doubt and you disconnect. So where do you connect to? Maya. It's either Krishna or Maya. You want to disconnect there? Okay, then connect yourself there. If you don't like your connection there, then change your connection over there. Right? We're disconnecting from the powerhouse. We're running on some temporary battery, which over the years has become very weak battery. Right? Maybe it'll last 1 hour, 2 hours, right? Before it could last 18 hours, 13 hours, whatever, right? So over the years, now battery life is like losing Shakti. So you want to unplug from the wall and run on your battery? How long before the whole thing is crashed out? Before you really want to use it, then you have to plug in, right? You like that technology talk? It makes sense though, doesn't it? And I'm not even a technology person. Even I figured that part out. We're just sitting there like this ball is just going like this, you know? Overload. Overload. Not this, not that. I can't shut it off. I can't go to the next page. I can't do anything. The mouse won't work. The cursor won't work. Right? You can't even go backwards. You can't go forward. Just sitting there like this, you know. And then it's like, okay, and you're just watching, right? And it's like, okay, this isn't changing. Now, how many hours you're going to sit there? I'm just waiting, you know. I'm waiting for an answer, whether I should go forward or backwards. And you got to reboot the whole thing, isn't it? And hope that thing starts up again. That's another question. And you reboot it, and all of a sudden, you know, you're in some kind of strange website somewhere. There's no guarantee you're going to come to some kind of healthy place either after your reboot. Now you're in the Kurdish ISIS Al-Qaeda network. Yeah. Now you just joined a terrorist organization. Anybody else? We're good? All right, everyone. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I appreciate it. Is the ball still rolling? Yeah. Deva Deva.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev.
There you go.
So,
You just talk to your wife and you get clarification from her, right? Right? And then she's confused and she asks you. And then that gives more clarification, right? So you guys just like going back and forth saying, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Right? And then by the end of that, is everything crystal clear? No? It's more confused. And so then you said, now we're so confused, so disturbed, let's just fight with each other? Basically, right? We couldn't figure it out, so let's hate each other. So?
so I have to be constantly praying.
It's tough doing it unconsciously, that's true. It's very difficult to unconsciously try. Yeah. It's like when you're in a deep sleep, right? It's very difficult to clean your room. Right? You don't even know that you're not cleaning your room. So? And then you wake up and the room is dirty. So obviously you didn't clean the room. So? Consciously trying?
And also constantly.
Huh?
Constantly also?
Constantly. How about trying to make it consciously? First try to make it conscious and then worry about constantly. Right? Like first try to get the first one. Right? Then worry about the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How do I constantly keep in Krishna consciousness? By first becoming Krishna conscious and liking it, and then wanting to repeat it. And when you're not in that, it's not fun. And you come back and you want to be in it, and then you repeat it, maybe longer, like this. Again and again and again and again and again, till you can't take it anymore. And then you'll be like, we're like astronauts, right? It's like you need to be, or like the fish out of the water. The fish supposed to be in the water, not on the beach. Right? We're not swimming in the right environment. It's unnatural, unhealthy. So we need to swim more in the ocean. Right? It means we need constant association and seva and hearing and chanting. That keeps us connected. General instructions, specific instructions, that keeps us connected to the powerhouse of Guru Krishna. Then you get the spiritual Shakti. We're getting weak because we're disconnected. So we have to connect, reconnect, in a more determined way, rededicating. Just like if you're doing something, all of a sudden it's like your computer running out, then you realize, oh, somehow it came out of the wall. Now it's saying, you know, if you don't do something right now, it's going to crash down, right? You're like, wow, I thought I was plugged in. So we got to make sure we're constantly plugged in if we want to use the system. And if we're not running spiritually, we're going to end up running materially. And it's in two different directions. So which direction is best for us? Which way of life is better? Shelter, protection, free from mental speculation, more peaceful, purified mind and senses, some happiness, no, less anxiety. That's why I said, you know, if you love anxiety and inauspiciousness, and you're just waiting for the chakra to chase you, or the heavy lashes, if you enjoy heavy lashes, then go for it. Enjoy. See how long you can enjoy it. That's why we have to, you know, that reaction is meant to train us. Maya, we're not thinking through what is Maya actually projecting. We're not understanding. Okay, if this happens, then what happens? Okay, now I'm disconnected from Guru and Krishna. So now you have uncontrolled mind and senses. Now Maya takes control and floods you with all type of sinful thoughts, ideas, plans, and activities. Now you're taking apparats, sinful reactions, heavy lashes, chakras. Then you're in crisis management mode. Then all your relationships become completely materialistic and dysfunctional. Then everybody starts hating you, and you're hating everybody else, right? You getting the picture? So when Maya is telling us, like, the plan, the idea, right, she's not building out what it actually is going to mean. So that's why Bhagavatam says you have to think through. If you continue thinking, feeling, willing, you continue to keep thinking and feeling and willing, this is where it's going to bring you. And then what happens when you're in that state, in that condition? Is that the place that we want to land? Is that the place that we want to find ourselves in? Or not? So we have to be thoughtful. And we have to be experienced. That's what it means to preach to yourself. Maya will always keep attacking and trying in different ways. Always testing, always testing. And then Krishna is watching, okay, how are they passing that test? That's all that's going on here. Prabhupada said the other day that Krishna is using Maya to train us. To train us up. So are we part of the solution? Or are we part of the problem? That's the question. Prabhupada said if you cooperate, it'll go very nicely. Because you're not cooperating, you don't want to cooperate, then you have to get reaction. Then you have to get the punishment. And that's for every individual. And then we have to decide, okay, what kind of life, what type of consciousness do we want to live in? If we like, auspiciousness and shelter and protection, purified mind, senses, some peace, some happiness, if you like that, then we have to continue cooperating. If we don't like that, and you like anxiety, and you like crisis management, and you like, frustration and uncontrolled mind and senses and sinful reactions, and if that's your choice, that's also available. Did I answer the question? More than, right? Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari.
Gurudev, when I was there in Ritvik system,
You were hearing what?
Ritvik system, when I was there,
When you were listening to Maya, yeah?
at that time I
A
got
spiritual deviation. That's a Maya.
the deviation from deviation.
That's a deviation from the. That's a, you were very deviated. Then you became deviated. You were brainwashed into the system. Then you tried to get out, and then you were still deviated, but less deviated. It's actually the other way, right? So it's not really a deviation from the deviation. You were already deviated from the deviation. Now you're just back to the deviation. Now we're going to get rid of that last deviation, right? And then you'll be liberated.
So when I got your first YouTube video by a devotee from social media, at that time I was very much impressed, and at that time only I accepted you as my Gurudev. When I watched that video on YouTube.
You were watching me on YouTube?
Yeah.
I never watch anything on YouTube. I never listen to or watch what am I saying. Never. I don't even want to watch it or listen to it. Because I'm just trying to depend on Krishna to please help us to hear something that can benefit us. That's all I'm trying to do. So if something comes through, that means Krishna Parampara, my Gurudev are behind it. If that's convincing you, and you're liking that information, and you're applying it, and you're getting like a good result from that, giving you more faith, that's the proof of what's behind the Guru. Otherwise, if you're on your own, you're not plugged in, then you cannot get that effect. That's why they're coming with this bridge preaching idea. And then instead of saying, okay, I'm disconnected, I have no ability to convince you, so you should just understand you're not convincible. That's the problem. So therefore we have this other program, bridge preaching program, psychologist, past life regression. You can find out who you were in your last life. Some counseling, some psychology, little stretch your bones, hatha yoga, pranayama. And then if you worship the demigods, they may give you some materialistic benefit, like Lord Shiva or Durga, right? So then you get some material benefit. You're like, wow, this spiritual program, bridge preaching program is, I feel some benefit. Before I was poor, now I'm worshipping the Lord Shiva. I mean Krishna, Radha Krishna, but Lord Shiva is there. So since he's there, and he's Ashutosh, why not bring some money problem to Lord Shiva? Radha Krishna, it's all bhakti, no problem. I'm not going to disturb Radha and Krishna with my money problem. I'm going to go to Lord Shiva for that. So then you get some money, and then you're like, I like this process of Krishna consciousness. It's really working nicely. I'm in better health, my breathing is better, and my bank balance is better. So how do you say that this bridge preaching is not working?
So then I wanted to meet you, so I contacted.
And that's where everything went wrong after that, right?
Yeah.
Then I met you in person, and I was just like, this is not the same guy.
I wanted to meet you in Pune, but by your instruction I came to Mayapur. You told Ashutosh Prabhu, so Ashutosh Prabhu conveyed that message to me, and by your instruction, I came to Mayapur.
Can you
And-
imagine if you came to Pune, and I just came out of the hospital, right? And I'm in such a that's so painful situation, right? And it's like, this is the first meeting you're gonna have with me, right? So like, okay, better let him go to Mayapur, meet the devotees, hear some Hari-katha Krishna-katha, do some Harinam, be in the Dham, take prasadam, see if these people are like nice enough people. I said, make sure he doesn't get near Sham. Sham is like confused. Then because he just get out of his confusion. So I was thinking, okay, if you guys get together and then like he just got free from his confusion and you're like trying not to be confused.
So now I want you to please accept me as your disciple.
Oh, Krishna.
And guide me further.
Don't worry, man. Just don't be in a rush, you know? Because the main thing is it's internal, right? So Krishna convinced you, right? So I just want that to be the basis, that Krishna give you intelligence and faith. You know, that's why I'm not in a rush. I know if somebody's simple enough and serious enough and they hear this presentation, they will absolutely, by that mercy, they have to be convinced of that information. So that's why I'm not in a rush. But I want everyone to be convinced. I want Krishna to convince you. And if that's not like that, why will I want to do this seva? It's like, it's useless. So unless that's like that, connected to Guru and Krishna, and Krishna's convincing the soul, that's what gives me also faith that it's working. That somehow they're backing me up, and that somehow your soul is becoming convinced. If that doesn't work like that, what is the point of me coming and saying anything? So I'm not going to just hang on there and like, well, I'm trying to be a guru, and you know, I'm trying to get you to understand that I'm, you know, that I'm your guru, and I don't want to play that game. It's either real or it isn't. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. And if I'm wasting your time, I'm not going to do this service. That's the way I look at it. So I'm acting on order and instruction of my guru. I'm trying my best to understand it, to get my own realization and faith and express that to you in a way that is authentic and real and honest, but it's based in the tattva science of Krishna consciousness, according to Guru Sara and Shastra. And if that combination is working for you, that's only my Gurudev and Krishna giving that intelligence and faith. So I can see, I can understand. Questions becoming answered reasonably, doubts going away. Then you try to surrender, you're getting some more positive kind of confirmation and reconfirmation and some nice result. So that's giving some faith. So, you know, it's Krishna's mercy, Guru Krishna's mercy that's happening like that. So, very nice. All right? But I also, you know, I'm not desperate, you know, to get disciples, and, you know, I'm not doing it for that purpose, really. So, but if someone is convinced by Guru Krishna's presentation, then I'm also duty bound to continue to help them. Because Krishna Prabhupada gave you intelligence and faith. And you surrendered. And you're accepting that. So that means that I also have to continue to try my best to help you. And then you take it one day at a time. You know, it's not like, okay, all right, I surrendered, that's it. It's beginning, it's a start, right? And then you have to day after day, dedicate, rededicate, All different tests come, different doubts come, different questions come, different challenges come, and then all of that thing is meant to help us to understand how the process works and to give us even more faith. Because of then all of those things can be solved, they can be overcome. So it'll strengthen your faith as time goes as well. All right? Thank you. Hare Krishna. I didn't ask for this seva. And I'm not like, oh, I gotta be a guru, I want to be a guru. He wants to be a guru. This is Sam Maharaj. He wants to be a guru. But I don't want to be a guru. But I have to. Because otherwise I can't get mercy from my Guru Dev. What am I going to go make some sweets in the kitchen? Make some cookies with Deva Deva? And say, you know, this is all absolute, my making cookies. And then he starts asking me a question. I said, no, I'm just making cookies. Don't ask me any question. I cannot speak any philosophy. I'm just a sweet man now. So you have to do, every soul has to do exactly what Krishna wants them to do. And Krishna says, as you surrender, I reward you accordingly. As you're surrendering, I reveal myself to you accordingly. And then that service that Krishna wants, that's what will purify us, liberate us, ultimately deliver us. That's what makes it spiritual. Otherwise you just grab some savor and say, okay, Krishna, this is for you. It doesn't, there's no connection. Krishna doesn't accept it directly. All right? Anybody else? Everybody else is good? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Shri Gauranitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gaur Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. We have new Mataji back there. She also hearing Russian translation? Yeah. Does she like our talk?
Very deep.
Too deep, right? Very deep. I was expecting something much more superficial.
I want to accept it in my heart, not in my mind. I want to accept it in my heart.
That's smart. You have to get Krishna. If you get Krishna to cooperate with you, then Krishna will make you accept it in the heart.
I am very grateful.
Me too. If you're in your head, the head is with Maya. If you're in the heart is with Krishna, then you'll be with the Guru. You're still here? Everything getting answered?
Yes.
Really?
Just few questions, otherwise everything is answered.
Now he just wants to do it because that's our relationship, right? So now he feels bad. He's not asking any questions. And he's always known as that guy who asks questions, right? Hi, Paul. Maharaj. Hare Krishna. My Gurudev said, I don't want to be the head. I want to be the tail. And Prabhupada said, but I want. And then Gurudev said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. So those who don't want to be a guru, then Guru Krishna may use them. Those who absolutely want to be gurus, then they just going in like corporate America. Corporate America. Hare Krishna.